Okay, welcome. What a treat this episode was for me to record. So, today we have Kirsten Baker, who was my mentor my first year of teaching, and I cannot tell you the ripple effect that that has had on my life and the work that I do to this day. Even though I'm not in the classroom anymore, I take the classroom with me. And the way that she led and interacted with those she mentored, including myself, and those she was leading in terms of her interactions with the young people that she was helping to develop had such a profound impact on me and how I see the world. So, Kirsten Baker is a high school assistant principal in Swanee, Georgia, in Gwinnett County, who focuses on the power of student leadership in building culture in high schools. When she worked with Sam, me, at Norcross High School, she was a science teacher, a soccer coach, and student council advisor. Kirsten grew up in Cape Cod, Mass, with her primary sports being youth soccer and gymnastics. In high school, she moved to Belmont, Mass, where she was on the gymnastics team, a diver on the swim and dive team, and a sprinter and threw javelin for the track and field team. She was also active in singing, I'm sorry, she still sings today, and theater productions. She went to Cornell University to be a veterinarian, which she is not, and stayed involved with intramural and social sports throughout her adult life. She got her master's in science education from Georgia State University and a specialist in educational leadership from Lincoln Memorial University. This is year 28 in education. Wow. And 10 in the classroom and 18 as a school administrator. Kirsten is married to her husband, Mike, and they have a 13-year-old daughter who plays club travel soccer and 15-year-old son, I remember when he was born, who also plays club travel soccer as well as percussion in the high school marching band. So we talked about that actually, being in marching band and also playing soccer. In her spare time, quote unquote, Kirsten is also the event lead for the Gwinnett Relay for Life, where she has volunteered for the past 27 years fundraising toward a cure for cancer. And she leads like a boss. She is inspiring, empowering, and the way she orients to young people, like I said at the beginning of this, is so magical. And seeing the gifts and the genius that's inside of all of us, really. So what an honor. I'm so excited to pay this conversation forward with you. All right, here we go. Let's do this. Oh my goodness, Kirsten, I'm so excited to spend this time with you and catch up and talk about all things sport, parenting, and raising kids. Yeah, so thank you for being here.
Yes, it's a pleasure.
Oh my goodness. So I would love to start at your roots. And I was actually in thinking about this. So I don't even want to name how long it's been since we taught together. It's been very long in decades. Yes. However, right, I think, and I know I'm going to cover this in the intro, so it's repetitive, but the impact that you've had on my life as like the gift of having you as a mentor for my first year in teaching, profound. And so being able to see up front how you impact those that are around you, not just the kids directly, but those that are also leading the kids, is something that I hold so close to my heart. So I would love to take us back to your roots. And was it Mass? Are you from Mass?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's right. I knew had the New England connection going.
Yes.
But yeah, your cultural upbringing and background and kind of how you think that's shaped who you've become.
Sure. Yeah, I grew up on Cape Cod, and I'm an only child of a divorced family. So lived with my mom primarily, with my grandparents in my life, and so running around, I was wet all the time. I was in the water, playing in the sand, and then middle school we moved to Belmont, Mass,
Okay.
and just me and my mom, and she just tried to help me get involved with anything. And it was a financial burden, and I always appreciated that my mom worked really hard to get me exposed to things. So as far as sports, I would say gymnastics became my primary kind of outlet. I danced for a little while. I played community soccer. I played tennis. I did all sorts of things. And then when I got to high school, we actually had a high school gymnastics team. So I was on the high school gymnastics team competitively. And then because I was a gymnast, my swim team caught me and I became a diver. So I dove. And then I threw the javelin. That's random too. Like, I think because I was agile, and the javelin is like an artistic sport. It's not like a muscly sport.
Yeah.
So I threw the javelin and like went to states for javelin. So they don't allow anybody to like throw the spear anymore, I think, until college. But there's no spear throwing at high school anymore. So, and then when I went to college, I went to Cornell, and I knew I wanted something. I was not going to be a collegiate athlete. So I I was a singer always also in my life, so it was like, I'm going to try out for some of these music groups, and if I don't get that, then maybe I'll try crew, because I had never done that, and that's huge up in Ithaca. So, but I got the music thing, so I did the music stuff, sang all through college, but I was always doing intramurals. I did, flag football with my sorority, and even as a young adult here when I moved to Atlanta, playing sport and social, like adult soccer, adult flag football, so I just always have enjoyed being active.
Love it.
And now I'm a soccer mom. I've got 2 kiddos, a 13 and a 15-year-old. I told somebody this summer I was the poorest paid Uber driver. There was no ratings and no tips. They just expected me
all
to be
the
on
snacks
time everywhere.
And be on time. All the snacks. That's so true. Oh, that's so fun.
So that's my reality now.
Yeah. And so sophomore, and then the 13-year-old?
8th grade.
8th grade.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And so the landscape too. And one of the things as I listened back to my conversations, and like the landscape in different parts of the country is also different. So what does that look like when it comes to soccer and
soccer, so I'm in the Atlanta area now,
Yeah.
And soccer here is massive.
Mm-hmm.
There's a club, it seems, on every corner, and so we actually just moved our kids to a different club last year, different opportunities, different coaches, it's a costly adventure.
Yes.
It's a financial investment, it's a time investment, it's a family investment. It's important, though. My kiddos have played since they were 4. Soccer, Maggie danced for a while. I don't think Will did much of anything else. He's a percussionist too. He's in marching band, and so that's
cool.
a balance too.
Yep. Oh, yeah, that is. Speak to that. Will you pause there? Yeah, because that's fall big time, and then soccer too. Yeah.
It's been a great opportunity for Will to learn how to be a communicator. So he has had to communicate with a new coach about conflicts that he has with marching band, and he's had to work with his marching band directors about what might be conflicts with those things. We've made a priority that if we are in a band competition, because he is on the snare drum, that you can't sub in another person, so that will take the priority. But can we manage and communicate well about, if I have to miss something, what does that mean? Can I come another time? Can I, so it's been a great opportunity for him to learn communication and commitment, being forward thinking, looking at our calendars, knowing what we have as responsibilities. That's
so cool. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So powerful. Yes. And then, so when it comes to the soccer clubs you were talking about before we hit record, we can talk about it now or later, because I also want to get back to what you do today, right? This beyond Uber driver that doesn't get paid, in this space of tryouts, right? Like changing clubs. Because so kind of pausing and really like sinking into we know teachers, like the power of a teacher and the impact and the influence. And when I was having a conversation with Dr. Stamatis, he was talking about coaches are the second most influential in a child's life, right? And so the impact of the adult who's leading, when you're making these decisions, like you can't really undo what you know and see as a human in this world. So what are you looking for in terms of...
Sorry.
Right? No, real life.
Sorry. We'll talk about that. So... we had been at a very small club. It had been pretty good, and I think the difference was we had great people. So the kids had good coaches, and we got to a point where there were some dynamics, especially on Maggie's team. It was girl drama. It was a young coach. It just wasn't. She was not enjoying the sport, which for me was the ultimate factor. She was not enjoying the sport. She had fallen out of love with the sport. Her confidence was shrinking. She just wasn't playing the same. She didn't love the sport. And so that was critical in us choosing. I'm honest, and I chose a club that was, again, close by. We have some folks who drive hours, and I know you've talked about that with swimming and how long you spent in the car. So I was lucky that we had another club that was fairly close by, had a great reputation. And so we kind of rolled the dice with Maggie, and then we moved Will over this year as well. Yeah. But boy, tryout week, it's nightmarish. And I think both my kids dealt with it differently, but having them every day after they're out on the field, getting them in the car and thinking, okay, how do you feel? How did that go? Like, new club, what do you think? And did the coach talk to you? And even in that moment of, my child was seen. So Maggie was seen very early. Like, first night of tryouts, the coach was like, hey, let me get your name. And so she was like glowing. And it was not quite the same experience for Will. He had to kind of like muddle through, and it was a good outcome. But this year, in the second year as tryouts with Maggie, I literally sat in my car. I was like, and it wasn't about Maggie, it was about the other moms and the other dads. I mean, it was just this, so much noise and so much, I think. I'm like, can we just wait and just see? It was just so hard as a mom to hear these parents speak about their child and other people's children. Yeah. And I was like, it's a game. Ultimately, it's a game.
Yes.
And yes, I want my kid on a good team with a good coach with good people, and that's what we look for. Can my child learn to be a good human? Can the people in her world have good influence? And so that's, again, what got replicated with Will this year choosing. He chose to step back into the sport. He had taken a year away, and he missed it. And so he chose to step back in. But that was huge. Can they see themselves enjoying the game again?
Yeah.
Like, roll their shoulders back and just run and like have fun. If they're not, why are we doing it?
Yeah.
Like that's where I got to.
Yes.
So
yes.
And so week. Ooh.
Well, and what we talked, I was talking to my friend, Laura, about, like, she's the one that joked with me about crystals in my pocket and like gum and all the things, but that idea of taking space when we need to. And I think I can also so see through this work, and you with the mentor prior to me teaching anatomy and physiology. So that like stress response, like when we get hijacked, when we're in those spaces and we are literally staring into uncertainty, right? We're feeling so much anxiety, and so that manifests in those ways. And like how we show up in those spaces. So taking space, right?
And I didn't want to take on anybody else's
energy.
Right? I had enough in my own head, worried about my kiddos, that I didn't need to hear about everybody else. I literally sat in the car, read my book. I can't.
Yes.
I can't. I will be present for my child, but not for all of you.
Oh my goodness. A healthy boundary. It's real and engaging. And unplugging, noticing what works, what's helpful for you in that moment. Yeah. When it comes to the coach, like how hands-on, again, given your experience, like in the process of like, not vetting, but vetting really like who your child is going to spend time with.
I mean, I think some of it is crossing your fingers.
Yeah,
right? When you move to a new club and they choose you, and you kind of have to be like, ugh, I hope this is okay.
Yeah.
And for me with Maggie, with the first round, he saw her, he approached us like the first night and was like, I'm so glad to meet your child.
Cool.
I'm really interested in her becoming part of our program. Will's experience was very different. I kind of watched from the side and I could see the coach speaking to him. I never had a communication with him, but Will and I could talk when he got back in the car. I said, how did that go?
Yeah.
What did he say to you? Do you like what he said?
Yeah.
But there was a bit of crossing our fingers.
Yeah.
We knew the reputation of this club was good, and we knew that the level of competition was probably right for them. And it was going to stretch them.
Yeah.
And that's what we wanted, right? We didn't want it to be so easy that they were at the top of the field. I want them to be middle of the field, maybe even having to grind a little bit to get their footing into the field. And that's what happened with Will, being a new, especially a U16 player.
Yeah.
They know each other. There's a lot of like, ooh, I've got to find my way in. And so we talked a lot about that.
Yeah.
Again, skills, right?
Well, that's
a sport.
Yeah.
It is a sport. I want them to learn the sport. I want them to love the sport. But there's so much other learning that happens in the process of doing it.
That's that. So take us into that space and sharing kind of your role today in connection to sport and also young people. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm an assistant principal at a high school. I have been given the gift of running a lot of our leadership development programs. So a lot of our freshman mentoring. So how our upperclassmen welcome our freshmen, our peer leaders who are our kids around campus who are helping in our offices. High-level student leadership programs from the county level that drive kind of through our school. A principal probably about 15 years ago now kind of said, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, and I'm going to give you this title, like Leadership Development Coordinator.
Yeah, cool.
And now run with it. And so we both believe that we have 3,000 kids on our campus. And so that is a powerful army, and they are creative thinkers and they are creative problem solvers, and so if you can give them some direction and some boundaries, they will sprint. I tell people the story all the time, like I think we need a program about fill in the blank, and they'll be like, okay, and then 3 weeks later, they've written a full proposal, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right. So,
Yeah.
you know, for me, I think young people are going to save us, right? Like, my generation is messing all sorts of stuff up, and this next generation of kiddo, they see themselves as, they desire a space to serve, they desire a space to lead, and so when you offer them those opportunities, you know, that's powerful.
So beautiful.
Bells ringing.
I know. Yeah.
And then, you know, as a mom watching that for my kids, you know, Maggie was selected as a captain. Her team chose her, and so we talk about that all the time. What does that mean your role is?
Yeah.
You are now a communicator. You are now a motivator. You are now a picker-upper. We've got some new kids on the team who are a little bit hesitant in the social pieces of it. So I said, that child, hey, remember, she should never be alone. Like, pull her in, draw her in. And so a lot of that bleeds over. My kids are always like, I'll say something about school. I'll say something about, hey, so when you're using your phone, you're not doing, and they'll both go, what happened at school today? Like, why is this the topic of conversation in the car? I was like, I'm just checking. You're making wise decisions. Because I've seen like the outcomes here, and like, oh, don't do that.
Yes.
So.
Oh, that's so well. And I would love, like, if we can double click on leadership in terms of, so when you started to talk about it, our first meeting, I don't know if you remember this, you know, you're in this onboarding process as a new teacher, and it's like meeting after meeting, and it's person standing at the front talking, and it's like we walk into the room and there's paper and markers and candy and like, and so people that are listening that have worked with me now are going to be like, oh, that's where she got that from, because it was like, wait, what are we doing? Like, you want me to be involved here? Yeah. So what would you say, like, where's the influence for how you lead and show up and empower others? Where did that come from? Or are there powerful mentors in your life?
I can't remember who hired you, like Mary and Sharon, Judy Rogers, like those were these super influential women leaders. They were the principals at the time. I would say they were huge. I mean, I remember coaches, you know, coaches who, my gymnastics coach and my swim and diving coach from high school, they were super powerful people who just poured into me and I think gave me the belief that I mattered.
Yeah.
So, and as a student, I think sometimes we ignore is not the right word, that we don't believe that these kids can do something. And so even as a young teacher, right, a young teacher, that for me is the golden nugget. If I can get a young teacher to believe that they can do this task, because it's always harder than you imagine. You get in the class and you close the door and you're like, holy my goodness, what do I do?
What if, it's kind of like the moment when you have a kid and you're going, like, you're letting me go home with this baby?
What do I do with this?
What's going on? Yeah.
Yes. So for me, mentoring young teachers, gosh, that's, if I can get a young teacher to believe in themselves and to like see the opportunities, then I've influenced 100 kids every year because of that young teacher, right? And so with my kids who I work with in leadership, same thing, right? If I can get one of them, I mean, it's the ripple effect, it's the pebble in the lake, it's all those things. I think for me, it was those people saying, you matter.
Yeah.
And having that in the back of my brain, like, I want to see each kid, right? So when I speak to a student, whether it's about, they've made a mistake about discipline, or it's one of my leadership kids who is like desiring to see a shift on our campus.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, tell me about it. Like, let's have a conversation. And I think sometimes, I had someone the other day say, thank you. I had just done discipline, and he said, thank you. And I'm like, why are you thanking me? We just had a critical moment. He said, you weren't as scary as I thought you were going to be. And I think it's because I sat down at the table with him, and we talked about the next time, right? Learning, whether it's sport or school or whatever, is about next time. It's about, if I am in a scenario similar, or if I'm walking in this pathway, can I make a different set of decisions, or a more advanced set of decisions, or have I strengthened my toolkit so my decision looks different or better? I think that's true of sports, of school, of me mentoring young teachers. I mean, I don't know. I was supposed to be a veterinarian. That was my goal when I went to undergrad. I am not a veterinarian. this is your
But
28.
you definitely have mentored veterinarians. We've got now seeing where the kids go. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is your 28 in education for me. So my accidental master's in education that was like my fallback plan, I think has paid itself off now. But, the idea of influence for me.
Yeah. Well, in leadership. Yeah. So that idea of influence, say more. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. When I was a teacher, so I remember teaching anatomy and I would be like, why are you taking the class? And, I want to be a lot of doctors, but the ones who I loved was the kid who was like, I want to be a fireman. I want to be a paramedic. And I knew that they probably weren't like the gifted, super high flying, but they saw themselves in a service industry. Yeah. I was like, okay, I'm on you. Like, you're mine. And so that I see you, I hear you, let's get you there. Yeah. And so that was powerful.
Yeah. Even how do you how do you define leadership? Like, how would you, when you talk about it, how do you see it?
I think it's influence. Yeah. I think it's choosing your circle. I think it is relationship. As a leader, I am a walk beside you leader. I am not follow me, come on, let's go. I'm a, hey, let me partner with you and walk beside you, or I'll lift you up from behind if you're struggling. So I think it's relationship. I think it's influence. It's, can I see where you're trying to get? Can I see your trajectory? And then can I get some barriers out of the way for you? Yeah. It's communication. It is opportunity seeking for me. Like, and I'm not talking about it in terms of like building a resume. That I don't like that. Yeah. But it's, can I open a doorway for you that you didn't see as a possibility? Yeah. Yeah. It's
so beautiful. Just like making space, pulling forward. It's in someone that was led by you and walked alongside of you. That's the experience. And then seeing how you do that, even when you reference young people and taking an idea to them, it's almost like a lens of seeing brilliance and seeing you, I see you, you matter, and in the gift inside of each individual and the magic that they can bring and being able to mirror that back. It's so powerful. It's so powerful. And I think one of the questions as you're talking that comes up, I think even in parenting and definitely in the athletic arena, is this like, okay, like, well, that's cool, you can walk alongside of me, but like, how do you keep things under control? Like, how do you manage behavior? How do you make sure there are people like that old school model of I've got to squeeze tight, power over control to get people to act a certain way. So when, like, if you walk in your room, you're not seeing complete chaos and destruction, right? When you're teaching, it's like, engagement. Whoa, like, yeah.
I mean, well, you laugh about stickers and candy and stuff. So I just moved into a new office, and it's very professional. Like, what's behind me, that's my daughter did that. Roy G. Biv books and all that. But if you go into my old office, it's chaos. It is balloons and pool noodles, and I mean, it's what you remember of my class, totally. Right? Like, why are you teaching anatomy using baby dolls? Well,
oh my,
because
it's the best.
Because it's the best, right? Yeah. So, someone walked in, they're like, this room doesn't look very Baker-ish. And I'm like, I know, I'm working on it, right? Because for me, environment matters. Yes. I love organized chaos. Sometimes it's not even organized. Is there a goal, right? Can I get you there? But I think when you're talking about kiddos, right, at whatever age, can they see themselves in a space? Can they see themselves in the opportunity? Can they see themselves making a difference? And so for me, it's not, I don't want to control you. Like, I want the roof to be open. And I will help you craft language. I will help you write a better proposal for the principal. I will help you figure out the supply list and figure out how to finance it, right? But boy, if you have a good idea, and I'm also a realist, so I'll sit down and go, we're not going to change the menu in the cafeteria. Like, that's not going to happen. But can we work on the kiddos who are sitting alone in the cafeteria? Absolutely.
Right. What can we control? You're also bringing me to this another huge valuable lesson that I've paid forward so many times I can't even count, is when I was angry and full of like, I want things to be different. Your guidance was, do you remember this, sitting down and saying, okay, well, what's the actual issue? What's the actual problem? And then what are some solutions that you can provide? And I've paid that forward in every direction with young people, with coaches, with leaders, like, because we get so caught up in just the emotional experience of something, we're upset about it, but being able to come down to a grounded space and then actually come to the table naming, because sometimes we don't even know what we're upset about. What is the actual behavior that's upsetting or that we're wanting to be different? And then what? Yeah, is that something that you birthed on your own? I'm so curious. Do you remember that conversation?
I mean, I remember I probably have had like 100 of them with people. But I know you were making a huge change. Like, you were talking about, leaving education and really massive shifts, right? Moving back home and all those things. And so I do remember you trying to sort through, even like whether to coach swimming or not, right? I remember those conversations with you. I think whether, again, it's a young teacher or whether it's a student, and like, I understand that you're feeling a certain way right now. Like, I love what you just said. Like, can you name it? I do that with my own children. Okay, friend, I know we're angry right now. My son and I got in like kind of a little argument the other day, and I said, walk away. Yeah. I can't talk to you right now. I need you to walk away. Come back when you're ready to actually have a conversation instead. So, name it. Can you name it? But then, we do social emotional learning in our school, so it's like that idea of, can I acknowledge how I'm feeling? Can I name it? Am I aware enough, right? Am I aware of my feelings? Can I name how it's making me physically feel, right? So I'm sweating. I'm clenching my hands. And so my daughter and I did a lot of grounding. After COVID, she was really struggling when she stayed home, and she would, she was clenching her hand. I was like, okay, like, you are acknowledging it. You are clenching your fists. Why is that happening, right? And so once I can figure that out, oh yeah, I am feeling this way. Okay, now let's figure out what we can do about it. Right. And I think that if, as an adult, as whether I'm a parent or a coach or a mentor, if I solve it for you, I've done no good for you. Right. I may have fixed it in the moment, but I haven't taught you anything about yourself. I haven't taught you anything about the life trajectory, right? Like, I need you to be able to do this the next time for yourself. So, with you or with my own children, it's like, okay, I get it. There's a lot going on right now. Like, figure out how you're feeling. Now let's figure out what needs to happen next. What needs to change? Like, do you need some time? Do we need to talk to coach? Do we need to, are you struggling with your communication? Like, what do you want to say to coach? If you're frustrated with practice last night, what happened? How can we process this? And how can I help you process it? And then how can you step in tomorrow in a productive way instead of just being like, I'm so hurt, blah, 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 like, okay, you can cry. And we do that all the time. Like, okay, go, cry it out, girl, cry it out. Then let's come back and talk about it. I think
what stops you from climbing in? Like, what stops?
Oh gosh, like, I climb in. I climb in.
And then you notice that you're there and you climb back.
And then I like climb back out, like,
oh my gosh, it's so real.
No, I'm not a perfect mom. I'm not a perfect anything.
What even
is all
that?
The time.
Yeah.
But I sometimes can be like, not going to climb in on that one.
Yeah,
right? Like,
the awareness.
I can help you, right? When she is hot and she is super emotional, I'll just hug her. You know what? This is the moment. I'm just going to hug you, and then we'll slow down and breathe through it and figure it out. But I think, in education, this is something that is powerful. If parents can think about just education. There is this belief that a teacher teaches something today and your child knows it, and they're going to go take the assessment and get it right. Like, I should get 100. That's not learning. Like, there is this, I am awkward right now and I don't know it and I have to struggle through it. And like, homework should be about practice. Whether you want to connect it to a batting cage. Like, I'm not grading you. The batting practice is important to fix my swing, to do all these things, so that then I am measured when I show up at the game. Right? The same thing is true for learning. And I parents were like, well, my kid didn't get the A. No. We just started this. Like, let them struggle. Let them figure this out. And so in education, as much as in sports,
totally.
Productive struggle. Productive struggle. It's and some parents are not letting their kiddos. Helicopter parents, stealth bomber parents.
What's stealth bombing?
They just come in and like It's not even like hovering over you and being like, I don't know if I like what you're doing. It's like, come in, drop a bomb, come back out. Like, they just want to come in and like destroy a teacher. I'm like, well, did you talk to the teacher? Did your child talk to the teacher? Don't just come in and say whatever is like coming out of your mouth. Like, think. And,
that's
like,
the power of the pause. That's the dysregulation. That's that, like, we're like way at the extreme end of the fight or flight, right? Like, it's intensely hijacking behavior. Well,
and I always, a parent will come in super angry, and I get it, right? This is their child. Their only job is to be that child's person. It's their job to be fully present, and to do their best for that kiddo. And I get it. And sometimes it's like, I understand your child, but we have 3,000 of them. So there are some processes in place, and your child is going to go through a process. Or, it's okay that they don't have an A right now. Like, we have 18 weeks in a semester. Like, it's okay.
And even if they don't get there, do you feel like we're, like, trend wise, in terms of, because the same hooking onto the outcome of A versus like a time or a spot on a roster, or like it's this outcome and an obsession with needing to get there for it to all be worth it. Do you feel like we're making progress and loosening our grip, or it's getting even tighter? In your experience?
No, competition and comparison is beastly. It's beastly. And I don't know if that's nationally, but that's certainly here at my school and in our county. UGA, we have Hope scholarships, right? So kiddos can go to school basically for free, depending upon their GPA. So that GPA, that outcome is because it's a financial,
absolutely
tangible thing. It's connected. But I mean, I shouldn't say no outright, right? I do think that some folks are slowing down enough to breathe through that with their kiddos. But our kids have so much pressure, and they are grinding to build the resume. How many AP courses can I take? How many clubs can I join? Can I found an organization? Can I be on 3 teams? What title can I earn? What award what accolade can I add? And I think that competition drives some dangerous outcomes, some dangerous communication behaviors, parenting, and I think sometimes you just have to be like, what are we trying to do? And I loved it. I was listening to one of your podcasts, and they were talking about, I'm trying to just create a good human. Like, we're trying to create good humans here, right? And if they go to UGA, great. But if they don't, there's some great other schools. And I think that's the same is true if they don't make this team or that, that play production, whatever it is. They can still be a brilliant athlete. They can still be a brilliant actor. They can still be a brilliant whatever. Just sometimes you have to sometimes the route may look different, right? These kiddos have it in their mind, like, I'm going to go to Harvard, or I'm going to go here. And when that outcome doesn't happen, it's like, the world has ended. And friend, there are so many different pathways to get to the thing that you want, or to get to the perceived outcome that you want. And it will be different.
All of that. And then I'd also say that having, like, spent time with humans who get into these schools and places, and then a chunk of our life the last decade was spent in Williamstown, where Williams College is a very highly selective institution, and it's like you get there and then the kids are like, wait, like what? And it's so similar to my moment on the podium where I was like, is this it? Like, this is what I like, what? And so that idea of the stories, like what we're making those moments mean, what we're making that grade mean. And that, I think, is the thing that, like, that story is what's hooking and driving that emotional response. It's like, well, so if we can drop that. Have you heard the industrial school complex? Have you heard that language? And I can't remember where I picked that up, but it's like school and this pathway and just this, like, get into college, like this, the pushing to just get into this institution. And if we kind of drop the rope and step back and say, okay, like, if we're centering the human and the experience of these kids. So I would love, and not to bring like a heaviness, but a realist of from the ground, like what you're seeing with this generation, knowing that you're in a suburb of Atlanta, and also your experience over the last, you said 28 years? You're 28?
28.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, this would have been year 20 for me. And I'm like, I miss the classroom. so much. But that what you're seeing, that the cost of that, I think it's important to name it without shaming. Holding space that we parents are doing the best that we can with the resources we have. So when I'm coming in and I'm like, what was the language I used? Like dropping in.
Stealth. I'm a stealth parent.
Stealth parent. And I'm dropping in like that at some point it's not too late. We can pause, grow our awareness and shift how we're showing up, make amends and do better. So the cost of that when we don't though, like what are you seeing on the ground level with young people?
I mean, we're talking about mental health all the time, right? I know you've talked a lot about anxiety. It's an awareness. I mean, post-COVID, right? Nationally, I don't know if it's more kids truly are more anxious and kids truly are more fill in the blank, but definitely more awareness of it, right? I think that we are naming it differently. But in that, so like when we do our freshman mentoring, right? So my upperclassmen, juniors and seniors, partnering with my freshmen once a week to try and help them walk alongside
so beautiful.
Of this first year journey. A lot of it is about self-care. So my drop the mic statement this year is self-care is not selfish. And I'm trying to use that with everybody because my teachers need to hear it, the kids need to hear it, the parents need to hear it. And so teaching them, whether it's, can you go take a walk? What is it? Music? Do you go work out? And really, my peer leaders this week are doing a unit on self-care. And it's just that idea of how do I reset? And how do I fill my bucket when my bucket is empty? I love, there's a fable of the starving baker, which I think is funny because it's my name. But it's that idea of if I am working, right? If I am the baker in the small village and all I do is bake bread, and I continue and I never stop to eat, I will starve and I will stop making bread for the village and the village will die. And so that idea of as a leader, I have to pause and eat some bread, whatever that looks like. And I have to, for me, it's, I might go read a book for a bit. Like I might watch really trashy TV for a little while. Like for some reason that resets my brain. But I might go for a walk. I might, those things. So acknowledging I have a way to reset. And when I am pushed up against whatever that wall is, I can't do this anymore. Then I am going to put it down and I'm going to go try something else. And I think we have to teach kids that. That is not a muscle that they have. And so that is a muscle we can teach and that we can strengthen, right? I mean, that's skills.
Totally.
So if we can teach them different strategies or just honestly the awareness enough to know, I need to take a walk. I need to put that thing down. I'm not being productive, right? I had a girl who said she worked on one math problem for an hour the other day. I was like, stop. Stop. Don't do that. That is not productive struggle. That is just
I love that language. I just was on with a coach and he said productive discomfort, but they're the same. Like it's like productive struggle, productive discomfort. And there's an alignment piece to that is like at first the awareness of is what I'm doing, like is this working? Is this getting, or am I spinning? Like am I just in a state of grinding? And I like from my work with young people, like cut cross section US, right? Not one particular area. It's it's their perception, but the pressure, it's like this one class or even professors that feel like they've got to prove and it's like pile on. And it's like somehow that still exists of this, like we gotta make it, right? And so that teaching, what I hear you teaching in there is this illusion of urgency. I've learned that from Mark Nepo. It's one of my favorite, I hope I say his name correctly, a poet and author. It's like the moment you feel like you have to just keep going, you can't let go of the math problem, it's the moment that you literally drop it and step away, and that allows our body and our nervous system to come back down.
Will he's a percussionist, so he started in middle school, and his vision when he saw the marching band was he just wanted to be on the snare. He just wanted to be a snare drum. And his freshman year, he did not get it. He did not. He ended up on a giant bass drum. First of all, I don't know how he carried it because it was enormous.
Marching too, right?
Oh my gosh! I'm like, please don't fall over. Please don't fall over. But we did that for a year. We kind of like paid our dues a little bit. We were the freshmen, but all last year, I've never seen him work as hard on the snare drum as I ever saw him playing soccer, right? I'd be like, hey man, are you gonna go dribble? Are you gonna go like do some, no, I'm not gonna do that right now. But every day I would come home in my house, and I like constant. But man, he worked so hard, and for an entire year.
Yeah.
And what happened this year? He got on the snare, right? So that that was a great moment for my kiddo too, right? Okay, friend, you just saw this work for percussion, and so now he's coming back into soccer, and I said, okay, you know exactly how this feels in terms of what you just did for snare. So we've stepped into a new team. You want to try out for high school, like you want all these things. Can you come in with the same mentality of I'm going to strengthen the things that I'm not as good at. I'm going to drill and work. And I mean, all of a sudden, you know, it was bulk summer. He wanted protein shakes, and he wanted a gym membership and like all these things. I was like, okay, we're going to try these things for you, right? Yeah. Because but he was doing it.
Inherent in that was your letting, like he's doing it. Yeah. He's driving it. He's doing it.
And but I said, okay, if we pay for this gym membership, then we're going to go how many days a week? Okay. And the Uber driver then steps in and provides the rides to all the things. He's driving. He's learning to drive. It is the most terrifying thing ever.
Another level of letting go. We're like 6 months behind you. I'm like, wait, you really don't need anything to just like get behind and practice? I think that will be my husband's job. For a little while.
Yes, it's not my job. But I mean, everyone says, oh, it's so dreamy when they can drive themselves. I'm like, I can't do it.
Oh my gosh. That letting go.
But,
yeah.
But
thank you for sharing that. Can he see those pathways of I worked hard at something and I wasn't as strong as I could have been, and so I mean, in anything, right? Whether that's sports or whatever, music, I can build a skill. I can become stronger, and then I can be seen as oh, wow, they worked really hard. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yes.
Right? A coach, that's what a coach wants. A coach, if I can tell my kids, I want my kids to be coachable.
That's it.
I want my kids to be coachable.
Totally.
And so will you listen and be present in practice? I want you as sweaty as you can be when you get in the car. You smell really bad. We'll roll the windows down and move forward. But have you given it all to get better?
Yes. I was reading a post. I try so hard to just dabble in social, share what I can, and then rip out. There was a post that I read this morning though, and it was a swim mom and talking about like, you know, a little clickbaity, like it's like we invest all this time and money, like the investment needs to be, like the return on our investment needs to be there. In the comments, people were like, no guarantees of results. And nowhere in her writing did she actually even talk about getting like guaranteed results. It was more about the experience and being able to like this window of opportunity to hone skills that are going to serve us for life. And that's what I hear. Yeah. If you feel comfortable when you were in that window, because have you seen the video from Dr. Becky, the learning space?
Yeah.
Where she talks about like when you're from not knowing to knowing. She did the Duke guest lecture. That frustration, like what did you see, and not just necessarily with your son, but with young people, helps them tolerate it longer?
I think, so when I tell kids about goal setting, right? So when they goal set, I tell them that people use SMART acronyms and all those things, right? But if you can't measure the incremental improvements, you will stop. Yeah. Right. Atomic Habits, James Clear. Yeah. That's a great thinking, right? So if you can't see the baby steps, you won't continue putting in the work because you don't feel the mini successes. And so I think some of that is when you set a goal, like my goal is to be on snare by next year's band. Well, what are the steps? Oh, like the percussion director, you know, heard you playing in the practice room, and he came in and he was like, what was that? Was that you? Oh my gosh, that was you? You know, so all of a sudden he'd come on me and be like, he saw me, like he heard me. Yeah. And so can he have those mini wins, right? So I think that's a big piece in goal setting. Do you have a timeline? Yeah. Do you have a thing that you're trying to get to? Like swimming, I know it's great because you like, oh, I have a time. Yeah. Right? But you won't get to the time tomorrow.
Well, and that's, you wait like all season in that sport to like get the time. Yeah, so it's really, and then the role of a parent in supporting that. So like having the conversation you're having now and saying, okay, Like, what is your goal? Like, what are you wanting? And then what is a way to measure progress before you have the opportunity to hit the outcome? Yeah. So those like little mini, I love that. Like that aligns with self-determination theory too, right? It's just humans' motivation.
Yeah. And I think it's not the defeatist piece of it too, right? Like whether you are feeling the idea that there is progress, right? So I think sometimes you get stuck in I'm just doing this thing. I'm just doing this thing over and over and over again. And instead of I'm doing this thing and it's easier now.
Yeah.
Right? So like even for me to go, I can hear him like pounding away in the basement. I'll be like, what was that? That was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Like so me as a mom being like,
you're attuning to progress though. You really, and we have to train that though, because that's not a natural wiring. We look to see what's not there, what's wrong, right? Like the negativity bias. So, and I don't know if you're familiar with the book Gap versus Gain. Have you read that one?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great one. But what you're talking about is what he describes in the book. So like when we're in the gap, the mindset's looking at what we haven't done, how far we are from the ideal. And that's just like, you feel frustration, you feel, not enough, like comparison. Yes. And then if you are turning back to see like, where did I start? How far have I come? And logging those wins, it's so big because, and in my kind of journey to get here, part of what I had to put down was this idea that if I turn around and look at my gains, that I'll somehow not want to strive anymore. And it's just, that actually is such a huge myth, because turning to look at how far you've come keeps you going. Like, So.
Yeah, I don't think, I never saw becoming a teacher being an assistant principal. Like that was never in my like things to do. Yeah. And I think, when I left Norcross and you took my spot, it was to become an assistant principal. And that was a risk, right? Like I rolled the dice and I was like, this seems like the next thing to do. I don't know. Yeah. And, that risk and reward, can I find a path that has enough challenge in it? And I think professionally, right, as an educator, as a coach, as for you in your role, can I continue to seek the spaces that are challenging me to be better? I think the mistake of a teacher is saying I'm done, like I've got it all. Like no, I am constantly trying to tweak and learn and strengthen my gaps. And I think that when my own children see me doing that, when I can admit my mistake, when I can admit that I didn't do something right, when I can admit that that interaction with them as a parent was not good. I apologize to my kids all the time. Like, I'm so sorry I snapped. That was not, I'm so sorry that wasn't the right way to approach that conversation. Yeah. Can we try that again? So, right? Like, that's modeling for them. And I think that that's so important in all of their realms of
repair,
existence, right? And as a human, like, again, you asked me my definition of leadership. My definition of leadership is relationship. Yeah. So, I work with teachers. I work with adults here all the time. And I have to invest in that relationship with them constantly, so that then when I have to push them and be like, hey guys, we've got to try something different or try something new, there's enough trust and there's enough like, okay, you're not going to lead me astray, and okay, we'll try that thing next. And I think that's true of young kiddos too, and whether that's me as a mom or all these student leaders who I'm trying to like open the door for them. I'm going to crack the window open. Just climb through, friend. Like, we're going to make it. And if it's not my doorway, there's another doorway. And I'll try and get you to that doorway. But for them to see me own a mistake or see me own a struggle or see me own my not being my best,
you humanize it all. It's so powerful. Yeah. And that on the heels of a conversation with Dr. Corey Allen, she was like, we could say what we want to say, but like they really are watching what we do and how we show up. And I'm like,
for sure.
Oh my goodness. So how are we engaging in that space? I was thinking, I had a question. I need to do a better job writing them down when they pop up. But the idea of, as you were talking about leadership, maybe will come back to me and maybe it won't. I'll ping you and I'll send you a message as soon as it does. Yeah, this idea of, for parents, of our opportunity to lead. What are you, when it comes to general kind of sweeping strokes of like, what are you seeing us do really well, parents in general, and then where can we do a better job? And it like, I really feel comfortable blending, like when we talk about performance and academics and performance on the field and like teachers and coaches, it's just like just a different arena, same skill set. What are your thoughts there?
I mean, I definitely think the idea of allowing them to fail, allowing them to struggle, picking them up when they fall, being able to be there to hold them up, and you know, when the soccer match doesn't go so well and they don't end up on the winning side, okay, what did we learn today from it, right? But I think it's that idea that I should not rescue you.
Yeah.
I should make you feel safe and loved and supported, so that then when you do fail or you do make a mistake or the outcomes don't end up the way we want, you know I'm right here.
Yeah.
You know that I'm here, and I'm going to lift you up, and I'm going to give you a hug, and I'm going to like dust you off and put you back on your feet, and then we're going to try and get moving again. But I think not letting, I think rescue. I think we rescue kids too quickly.
What is that? So when we talk about like psychological safety and safety and then rescuing, like climb in
What's that
there.
look like?
Yeah, like the difference between the two.
So I think for me, safety means, you know, I'm not going to set you up for failure, right? Like if I sign you up for a camp, right? It's because number one, you asked and you wanted it. Number two, that I think it's probably going to be a good thing for you, right? I'm not going to like throw you out there 3 levels higher than yourself.
The challenge where the challenge is too great. Yeah.
Drown. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think safety is knowing, for my kids to know when quality risk. So like, then I'm not doing risky behavior. My kid isn't out there like running in the highway, right? That's not what I'm talking about. But like, that I can step into a space and try something and know that if I don't do well, or if I need to take a step back, that me as a mom is going to be like, I told you so.
Yeah.
Right? Like they know
it's
that
like,
I'm in their corner.
Period.
And I say that all the time. I love you. I did not love that decision. There's no question that I love you.
Yeah.
And I think that they know that. And so then when we have to restructure something, when we do have to work on a mistake, it's because you know I love you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And we've been saying that since they were teeny humans, right? Like, don't touch the stove. I'm telling you that because I love you. It's going to hurt. I'm trying to tell you that, right? But I think what rescue looks like is what I see some parents be like, no, they have to get out of that AP course. They're not doing well right now, so I need a class change now. Yeah. Right? No, your kid is
like an eject button almost out of the discomfort.
Yeah, and I'm like, yes. Like, no, let them. My son took an AP course as a freshman, and he was like, Mom, I'm getting, so we rate we're on standards-based grading, so a 1 to 5. Yeah. And he's like, Mom, I'm getting 2s. I'm like, yes, you're getting 2s.
It's like, what is happening,
he's like,
Mom?
Mom, I've never failed. I'm like, you're not failing, you're growing, you're figuring it out. It is September. Yeah. You should be getting a 2. Right. We have until December for you to figure out how to move. Right. And so, like, for me to in education, to understand enough of the language for me to be like, yes, you've got a 2. Yeah. Tomorrow we could be a 3.
But imagine that too, in the like, take it to the athletic fields or on the ice, or like a skill. Like, you're bringing me back to a moment. My oldest daughter, she was late to hockey, whatever. Yeah, like she loves the game and she's playing, and like an area of growth of hers was like I'm gonna say dribbling, like stick handling, like making moves. Yes. And like taking the initiative to like charge toward the net. And so when she did the first time in a game, in a live situation, like it got botched. Like, she didn't get the shot off, right? Like, but like that was what I focused on. Actually, it was like amazing, because how else are you going to get better at it, right? So like,
well, I know. Yeah. You talked about that they were doing a drill where like they told them to fall.
Oh my gosh,
and get back up.
That was my literal moment where you can appreciate this as an educator. I was like. I was sitting with articles, because at the time I really didn't believe that self-compassion would help you rise. I really thought you have to be like an a-hole to yourself to get better. So I had Kirsten Neff's like printed documents in a folder, and I'm sitting there reading, and she's doing this drill, and that was it. Like like skating, and they were sliding like superwomen, and then getting up, and I'm like, because where are we actively? So there's plenty of opportunities when it comes to sport and school and whatever we're learning. But where are we explicitly teaching them the skill set to how to tolerate that discomfort that's productive? Yes. How do we get back up? How do we, right? So when we get the 2, so I hear thank you for clarifying, because I actually was in a conversation with a coach yesterday. I was like, okay, how do we, like, what's the difference between safety and then like comfort? Like, how do we, when it comes to creating a safe culture, But that versus
No,
this
I think-
rescuing. Yeah.
No, and I think it's the can I pluck you out of a situation before you have the time
The opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that to me is the early, like you said, an eject button.
Yeah.
And I think that if we can get kids to figure out that it's okay to be uncomfortable in that moment, as long as you're willing to kind of, grit and that sort of stuff, right? Perseverance and, a statement, I'm not good at math versus I'm not good at math yet.
Yeah.
All of that growth mindset thinking, it certainly has its place in all of these things, right? So like, I'm not good at that. No, I
would even say like, what is good though? Like that's where I go to the next level of like, who's defining what good is, and there's good inside of everything.
No, because they're measuring it by the number.
Yeah,
like
for the 5 or the or getting Hope Scholarship or and that part is real. Like or is in swim, it's like, am I actually getting faster? It's so simple a metric. Let's say you either are or you're not. Yeah. But when what's the story we're making it mean about who we are in the world? It doesn't end there.
Well, and you mentioned as a parent, like I have this financial investment in you, right? So like playing youth sports, it's expensive. It's very expensive. And now we're traveling, so you got hotels and sometimes flights and whatever else, right? And I was talking with, she's a friend of the family, and her daughter was a gymnast forever, and she decided to quit. And the mom was like, you can't quit. We're supposed to get college out of this.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, no, you weren't supposed to get, if you got college, that was a bonus.
It's icing on the cake. And that was actually the point. The woman chimed into the comments who wrote that piece, and she said, never did I say anything about outcome. What I'm talking about is the actual opportunities for learning, the skill building, the environment that if I'm paying this elite amount of money, I want the experience to be elite. Nowhere in there did I say guaranteed outcome. Yeah. So it really comes back to like checking your own stuff. Like when we're squeezing, when we're trying to hit, when we go in, and there's actually like a neural reflex though, of like my kid's in pain. And when I learned that, I was like, oh, yay, it makes sense. Like, so there's nothing wrong with me.
The scientist in you
ever.
Like, success.
Oh my gosh. I can't even with my like lifelong learner. And that I was like, oh my gosh, okay, that makes sense. So now we just have to manage it. So anyways, oh my gosh. Oh, this is such a beautiful conversation. Yeah. Anything else you want to add, or that I didn't ask I
mean, I think just the idea of whether it's school or music or sports or any of these things, right? I was thinking about this when I was, kind of one of the things that I wanted to say to, as I thought I was not an expert enough to have this conversation.
Yeah.
But, you talked about this generationally and also like where we grew up. So I grew up in Massachusetts. I'm living in the Southeast now. I don't know that's really what it is, other than I'm just old. And so when I was in high school a long time ago, I was able to be a 3-sport athlete, be a musician. I was in theater. I was top of my class. I could find the time to do all these things. And, now that I'm a parent, and I remember Maggie, I think Maggie was 7 or 8, and we were dancing at a studio. She was doing ballet, and we were playing soccer. And we knew the next year, those two things, because this studio was requiring 4 days a week if she was going to progress, and this soccer team was requiring 3 days a week if she was going to progress. Like, we don't have enough days in the week, in the weekdays, and so... I think it's unfortunate when we have to force kiddos to choose this path so early, right? And so, with my son trying to figure out for us as a family how to do soccer and how to do marching band, like this is critical. And my husband and I were both musicians. I was a singer and he played in the band. We believe in music. Like music is massive in learning, all the brain work that it requires,
emotional shifts and regulation. Music's such a powerful shifter.
And so I think that's another thing, just as we parent and if we're parents of elite athletes, and one of your folks earlier this month when I was listening was talking about they have to choose and they have to give up, they have to sacrifice. When they don't get to go to prom and they don't get to do this, they don't get to, when you're being this high level elite athlete, they're also just humans and they're kids. And so I love it when when a coach can see value in a whole child, when a parent can see value in multiple kind of outlets, I think, that makes me sad that maybe some of that has disappeared culturally. I mean, just nationally, right? To be this competitive fill in the blank, you must give up all the other things. And I think that that's unfortunate for our kiddos now, because I love doing all those things. Yeah. And I think each of those things, had an outcome in terms of making me who I am and making me better at things. And so that's powerful. Hard.
Yeah,
there's only so many hours in a day.
There's Greg Olson, an former NFL player. Youth Inc. is his podcast at lunch this summer, and I got a clip where he was talking about okay, here's what we do. Each season gets a season, and we bring back seasons. And I was like, that's actually a fantastic idea. And why? Yeah, what would happen? How would? Yeah. And I, not to belabor, but this. COVID, when it shut down things, it taught us so much, in the sport of swimming. And I look now, however many years later, and I'm like, we didn't learn anything because the performance really didn't suffer. It was really fascinating. If we contain things, so is it this fear of missing out? What drives that? Or is it so I don't know that the NIL house case and the roster spots and all that's going to help the case, but it will be very fascinating. I because I haven't heard many solutions proposed in terms of I'm with you. It's more of a parental unit thing of how do we want to navigate this, because we're there too with our 9-year-old. How do we want to navigate this space? But if there's some sort of we got to have seasons for sports. Imagine that would give opportunity for all different kinds of things. So who knows? Oh my God. I'm so grateful, so incredibly grateful. The gift.
I love it.
One of the many gifts of this podcast space is being able to sit and spend time with you. And so thank you for being on and for sharing your wisdom. And I don't know if you want to open for people to find you or reach out if they have any questions, or they can come through me.
I'll give you the ways to get to me. I don't have any books. I'm on Instagram. I'm not on the book anymore, Samantha.
Okay.
I'm not on the book.
Yeah.
But I'm on Instagram. But not professionally. It's really just I'm just a human doing human stuff and
making a profound impact. So we're not going to let that slide. Yeah. So thank you for what you do in the world. Yeah, and believing in kids and seeing young people and the magic and brilliance instead of all the pejorative ways that people view them. So, yeah. Oh my gosh, amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, friend.
Yeah.